Alright, hey class. So at this point you should have already created an account, and now we've navigated back to the tasks.hotosm.org page. You can see here I am logged in. What you're going to want to do is start is by clicking over here on the Explore Projects tab. What this tab does is it has a listing of all of the current projects that this organization is working on. You can search through them based off of their difficulty level. As this is, I imagine, many of your first times doing this, you might want it to limit this to beginner mapper. You can look at projects on the map, projects to validate, or any project. For us, we're going to choose projects to map. Once you've become a little bit more accustomed to the software and the projects, then you can apply to become someone who validates. So this is someone who goes through all of the mapping edits and confirms or affirms that they are correct. But for us, let's focus on mapping. There's other types of filters here that we can look through as well, such as like the location if you're interested in working in a specific region. But for our purposes, let's just focus on beginning maps for us. Here we have a list, and we can see in the top right corner of each of them just how urgent this project is. And so on this page, as I'm pulling it up, this is the beginning. I see these first two are urgent, and you can read a little bit about it. Flooding in Bentiu, Unity, South Sudan. You can click on the project. There's other information in a short description, as well as this line. The black or the gray, the dark gray, as this fills out, this is all of the mapping that needs to be done, or the sourcing of buildings and waterways and roads. What's in red is the stuff that's been confirmed, so the validators have come through and double-checked that work. So this one here, the Philippines Collab Dev Mapping for Data Driven, you can see that this one is just about finished. By the time you probably even get to this video, this project will many of these projects will be finished. If you see just a lot of people working on these. But for our purposes today, let's just click on this one, Flooding in Bentiu, Unity, South Sudan. So immediately we can read more about this project. It talks about flooding. That flooding is really bad. It really affects the people of this region. It's home to about 305,000 people. And anyways, so you can read about the project, who this project is working with, and let's see, if this is a project, we have a map over here that we can zoom in on, so we can see, zoom out to see where in Africa. So here is the South Sudan. Okay, so we can zoom in on a little bit more onto this project itself. And you can see that the project is broken down into grids. So this helps us manage each section. It breaks it down so that an individual can select just a single grid or a part of a grid to focus on. Of course, this is color coordinated as well. We can look more at that here in just a second. So what I'm going to do is click here on Contribute. All right, this is something that I want to contribute to. I'm going to click on it. Now, it's important that you read the instructions, because this will tell you exactly what it is that the organizers want the mappers to look for. So it tells you what mapping to use. So it says, please use the Maxar Premium imagery. It's the default imagery in the ID editor. It says that you can switch to Maxar Standard, Bing, or others for comparison, but the Maxar Premium has been chosen for this area due to resolution. So what they're saying is that the map you're going to be looking at uses what's called Maxar Premium imagery. Now, some people choose to use this, but also pull up other maps, whether that's like a Google map, or, as it says, a Bing map, or the Maxar Standard, if you are looking to get a second opinion on what's there. But for our purposes, we want to largely focus on the Maxar Premium imagery. And it also tells us a little bit about what it is they want us to focus on, and that is buildings. They want us to map out the buildings of this area. And so it provides you some instructions here, but it recommends that you start with this 2-minute tutorial on buildings. Now, I have pulled it up myself. I've just recently watched it. It's pretty straightforward and pretty helpful, I think. It tells you how to map. It shows you how to click on these buildings. It'll tell you to label it as a building. It'll tell you how to square this, or in cases of a round building, how to make it circular. But it provides you with the instructions that you need in order to complete this project correctly. Now, if you have additional information about the buildings, like a business name, you can add that, but I think for our purposes, especially here in South Sudan, we just don't know. It also tells us that that the roads and waterways are being mapped by another project. So not to worry about this. Our primary interest is in looking at looking at buildings. So we'll come over here and look at the map of the region. You can see the areas that are in dark green. These areas have already been finished. The areas that are in the lighter, bluish green, these are areas that are ready for validation. So someone who has that validation tag can come in and check what has been done by others. Areas that are white, these are available for mapping. And areas that are yellow, these areas have partially been completed. So let's click on one of these yellows, and we'll map that selected area. Oh, sorry, I've already done this one. So we'll go ahead and pull up flooding in Bentiu, Unity, South Sudan. And this project. So here is our square. This is the area that I've selected. And you can see this is a rural area. It does not appear to be a large city or even a small community. This is it appears to be largely uninhabited. But as we scroll in closer, we can start to pick out that there are, in fact, communities here. So this is the river. And as we scroll in, you can see that, yes, in fact, this area has been partially mapped already. So I'm going to keep zooming in just so we can get a good view of this. Okay. So you can see these areas highlighted here and here and here. These are buildings. You can tell because of their salmon colored. So this is an area that's already been mapped by others. But here's an area that has been missed. So we can just continue to scan to the right. So having done the building tutorial, I know that this building needs to be mapped. So what I'll do is click here on area. I'll go ahead and put my dots on this building. And I'll go ahead and close it off. I'm coming over here to building. I don't have any more information about it. The other thing I want to do is to make sure that because this is a round building, I'm going to right click in it and come over here to circularize. You can see the shortcut key, if you just want to do this quickly on your keyboard, is O, and it makes that building a perfect circle. Okay. It's very important that as we do this work, that we do it correctly. So I'm going to continue to scan to the right. I'm looking for other buildings. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, here we go at the bottom right corner. Okay, we're going to zoom in here. Looks like another building or two. So I'm going to click on the area again. I'm going to come over, close it off. I'm going to click on building. I'm going to press O to make it a circle. Let's try it again over here. Area. Okay. Close it off. Turn it into a building. Press O to make it a circle. All right. I'm scrolling up. And I'm heading back to the left now. Let's see if I've missed anything else. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do this for much longer. I just want to give you a sense of what this region of South Sudan, this project, would look like. You can continue to go through this until the whole area has been mapped. Here we go. Here's a round and a square. So let's go ahead and map both of these. Close it off, call this a building, press O to make it a circle, and let's get this one too. Get on the corners of this building, close it off, call it a building, and we can right click and see what the shortcut is Q to turn this into a square. Okay, good. Alright, so when you are finished, regularly you're going to come up here and click on Save to save your projects. You're going to add a comment here, added buildings, and then you're going to want to click here, I would like someone to review my edits. Right? You want that until you want to make sure you don't make any mistakes. So go ahead and click that, hit upload, and then it will exit out and save our work. Now when you've gone into an area, it will reserve that area for you until I think it's for 2 hours. Okay. Alright, so click on another task, allows me to exit out, and that's it. So that was me giving you 5 minutes of mapping time in this area of South Sudan.